Hey, this is Darrell Webster. I'm here with Paul Warren from Auckland City Council. And Paul, you're making a journey over to Microsoft Ignite soon, very soon.
Very soon, 2 more sleeps. 2 more sleeps till the big trip.
Yeah, that means you're a dad, right? Because the way that you're counting them.
Yes, it is. I am a dad, and yep, masters in dad jokes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're allowed to do that with puns. I got 4 myself. Auckland City Council. We're in a boardroom on level 29, so this good-looking view out there. You probably won't see that very well with a 360 cam. But what happens here at Auckland City Council?
Well, a lot happens.
Yeah.
We take care of this wonderful city we all live in. We look after many things: leisure centres, parks. So many things I can't even think of right now. But it's probably one of the largest councils. Definitely in Australasia, it's probably the largest.
Right. Yeah.
If you look at it from a percentage of the population, 4.5 million people in the country. Auckland's got 1.5 million.
Yeah.
So the council looks after quite a high percentage of Kiwis.
Yeah, definitely. And like with large orgs like that, we need to support it with IT.
Yes.
This is where Windows and Windows Insider comes in, Windows 10.
Windows 10, yes.
So this is why you're going over to Ignite.
It
has
is.
something to do with this.
Yes, no, so I've been invited to talk about the Windows Insider program, more specifically the Windows Insider for Business program.
Yeah.
How we take the existing program that's out there for the consumers and apply it to your enterprise. And we can start testing and validating our applications and our devices against preview builds of Windows, get ahead of the curve, making sure that everything when the next releases of Windows arrive, that we're all on top of it, everything's stable, everything's running just fine, rather than mad panic trying to get drivers deployed or upgrading applications because we found things stop working.
Right, yeah, and I know that there's a couple of good sessions there that, well, one you're speaking at. We're going to try and drill into this story as we go. So not only are we talking to Paul and sort of thinking about this, what he's doing with Windows Insiders for Business at Auckland City Council, but we thought we'd just take you on the journey as we make our way to Ignite. So we're going to relocate. We're going to go and see a little bit of Auckland City, and we'll probably go down one of the busier corners down there off Queen Street and talk a little more. See you soon. Right, so we're back down here, Queen Street, Auckland, right, with Paul Warren, the main street. Hey, I've got one question. I'll have plenty of them as we go. Windows Insider for Business. How do you think it impacts what's happening here in Auckland City Council?
Well, we've got a lot of our users on Windows, and they do such very different work. The park rangers to building inspectors, all sorts of diverse roles at Auckland Council. And one thing Windows Insider for Business gives us is that we can deliver their Windows experience to them with as minimal interruption as possible. We can get ahead of that game, and they can go out and they're free to do their job. They can be the best they can, so to speak, at everything they do. We don't want building inspectors having to sit with their device because they've got a problem because it's just flighted to a new build.
Well, like going on a site here and checking to make sure everything's safe.
That's right.
Imagine sitting there and going, damn, it's not working. I'll pull out my pen and paper now.
That's right. Exactly. You know, we don't want them reverting back to old bits of paper that can get lost. And Auckland City, 21st century. We want to be, the world's most livable city, as the quote is. It's, we want to have an amazing experience for all our people that work for us.
Definitely. So we can get on with helping these people.
That's right. And it's all about these people, the ratepayers, the citizens, the visitors to Auckland City. We're all in service to them.
Cool. Well, until our next meeting, let's grab some lunch.
Let's get sick.
Continuing on the road to Ignite with Paul Warren and Darrell Webster. Darrell is a service. We're sitting here at, what was it called again? It was called?
Jackrabbit Slims? No, that's...
Glamping Grounds. Yeah, I found it. Glamping Grounds. Okay, so we've given a review of the food. We'll leave that to another segment. Yeah, too much, man, too much. Lovely surroundings, great view, awesome setup, but a bit pricey. Anyway, we thought we'd go over some of the tech that we take with us, just from the perspective of what are we going to use to get connected, charge, keep ourselves safe as it might be with one of them. So Paul, maybe we'll start there. You've got something there, it's this red thing that's connected to a power bank.
I've got my trusty power bank.
Okay.
That came with a little keyring holder.
Yep.
This actually came without the power bank. So
Okay.
it comes like that.
Okay.
And
What does that look like, Paul?
so, to many, and I got a few strange looks on Queen Street the other day.
Yeah.
And it was just, when I was holding it, looks like a condom.
Okay, yeah.
And in many ways, it is. It's a data condom.
A data condom.
Data condom.
So it protects your data.
It does. So when you've got your trusty iPhone
Yes.
and you don't have anywhere to plug it into, you've just got the USB port sitting on a bus or a plane
Yep.
or somewhere, and you plug it in and you get power and data flowing through the cable.
Oh, data flowing through the cable. Okay.
So there's stories about people plugging in mail weaving on planes because people's phones have been plugged in.
Wow.
That sort of thing. And all
You wouldn't have
those,
thought of that, eh?
No.
Like that somehow someone is connecting to it and uploading it to all the different devices that are also connected.
yeah. And let's be honest. Most of us, when we see those USB ports like we've
Yep.
got here, you just want to plug in and get some charge.
Yep.
That's all you want.
Yeah.
And that's what that does. So, like a condom,
Okay.
you slip it on. And then now, all that goes through is just
Bring
power.
it a bit closer here. So it just power
Just
now, no
power.
data.
No data.
Okay, that's smart.
And so I can plug that in.
Yeah.
I'm
And it's
getting
going to charge.
Charge.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
Look at that, you got the Ninja Cat for your background as well.
I do
How
have
about
the
that?
Ninja Cat. I've got the Ninja Cat pretty much on everything.
Yeah.
So is that...
All right, my turn. What have I got? So I got an iPhone X not too long ago. I was using one of these crazy chargers, right? So there's a Signet, 6,000 milliamps. Does a good job, and it's nice and thin. So I was using that with an iPhone 6s. Slip it into the pocket, that's great. But I was going through a lot of these cables because, you know, if you're in your pocket all the time, it starts to jiggle around a bit. Potentially, it could be screwing up your phone as well.
Yep.
So I made the jump to wireless power. My thinking being, like with this Morphe, when I just lay it in my pocket, then I'm able to charge it right up against it.
That's right.
And then I just can whip it out as I need to and just tap the button there on the side. It also is just a regular charger too, so if you've got the right cable, then you can just plug it in and charge it wired.
Covers everyone.
But yeah, that's quite good. All right,
One
what else?
question.
Yes.
On the other power bank, it had a number on it.
Oh, the white one?
One.
Yep, so that was the percentage of charge left.
Handy.
And 2 ports.
Fantastic.
I did have a larger version of this, and I remember taking it to one conference and a friend was borrowing it, and it was drawing down so much power that it actually made his pocket too hot.
Far out.
Yeah, so you have to be careful with these things.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
So I guess I too have some power banks.
Yes, you've got 2, just like me.
Just, yep.
I think we're going to need 2, aren't we?
Definitely.
Yeah.
After going through a quarter of my phone just on the bus ride to the airport, I thought a day at the Orange County Convention Centre, OCCC as they say.
Yeah.
That's gonna. My phone won't last a few hours without a charge. So
Yeah.
this one's kind of special.
Bring it closer.
So-
Windows Insider Program. What's the story behind that?
So the story behind that is in 2016 at Ignite New Zealand, Dona and Jeremiah Marble from the program, they came and visited us. Donna delivered a really inspiring keynote, and basically they had a little insiders dinner the night before the celebration at Ignite 2016, New Zealand.
Right.
And it was at a nice restaurant in Auckland called Gusto, and we got to talking, building relationships, and some really great chat. And at the end, Donna gave us all a t-shirt and a power bank. And so,
All right.
you know, it's kind of a power bank that's been well used, but it's very, very kind of special from that event.
Yeah. We'll put a pin in that sort of thing about 2016 later, because I'd like to sort of hear more about that. Definitely, like what inspired you to go further and
Definitely.
do more and change the way that you're thinking about delivering IT. All right, so you've got a couple of power banks there. Other thing that I'm using too, because I like to try and make sure that when I'm recording a few things, I've got a bit of good audio.
Nice.
So recently I got this little external microphone. So it's a Rode shotgun microphone. It means it's directional. And I did have one that used to sort of sit on a hot shoe mount that you would attach to a camera, and then you'd have this extra cable to go around. But there was all this extra gear that you had to do to attach it to make it work. And we know that with iPhones, and there's no longer a 3.5mm jack point. So that's when, like, this is only just sort of 2 or 3 months old now, but they've got one that's specifically for lightning jack. So it just sits there. I can point it to myself if I'm doing a review. I can point it towards someone if we're doing, a question and answer thing.
Yep.
And then just sort of turn it around.
Awesome.
Also, the traditional kind of lapel mic as well. So
Wow.
just in a nice little kit there. And if I need to get good audio, I've got it.
Fantastic.
What else? I'm interested in that little Dell thing there.
This little Dell, so a lot of, especially the Dell XPS 2-in-1.
Yep.
All it's got on it is USB-C. And that's neat because it makes it really thin. But, of course, people often need their other bits and pieces, USB-A mostly.
Yeah.
HDMI. So what this is this little dongle that we got in at work with all our 2-in-1 XPSs. And plugs into your USB-C, and you get some VGA, some HDMI,
Okay, that's important.
USB 3, and some Ethernet.
Awesome.
And for those people who like to build imaging off SCCM, etc., it's also Pixie enabled too. So
Oh, brilliant.
being able to network boot off of it is
Yeah.
handy for some of the ops people that we've got.
Yep.
So it's just something that's really handy to just chuck in my little bag and have available when I need it.
Very cool. Like, I've got a Dell XPS 15 laptop. That's my go-to for doing the live streaming and rendering stuff. USB-C port, that'd be perfect.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that one. I guess my last device is a 360 camera that I tried to do the live streaming with us earlier this week. So this is the Insta361. I got it last year, about a week before conference. Again, it's lightning jack, and it'll sit there on the top of the phone like this, right? And then you can basically, I'll get it to power up. Away we go. Alright, so it's doing its thing. So I'm doing a 360 to a 360 camera. Powered up. And there you go, it's spinning around. But the cool thing about this one is it's one of the only ones that does a really good job of doing live streaming, as long as you've got a good signal, like we didn't have yesterday in the cafeteria at Auckland City Council. I don't know, maybe I wasn't on company Wi-Fi, I was using the, anyway, so that's cool. So that's my last device. Now you got, I think that was about it, eh?
Pretty much us,
Alternate, so that's a few things that we're taking with us. We're on the move, road to Ignite, all those sorts of things. We'll check in a bit later, maybe from the plane. We'll hear a little bit more about 2016 and why there was a significant event, the Ignite for Paul, later on.
I'll have similar initials.
Hey, it's Darrell as a service with Paul Warren and Dan Whipler. We're in a holding pattern here as we're heading into Houston. And just continuing our journey and our road to Ignite, we thought we'd talk about some of the tools that we use for teamwork. We'll start off with Dan. So Dan, whereabouts are you from?
Well, I live in Sydney, Australia, originally from the United States, and I currently work at ANZ, and I head up the venture capital team.
Cool. All right. So there will be lots of teams and a huge structure within ANZ. Has ANZ standardised on something for teamwork, or do they leave it reasonably open for teams to choose?
I think across the enterprise, it's mostly Microsoft-facing products, but certain teams have a little bit of flexibility. So my team, for example, uses Slack mostly for communication, and there are a few other teams, mostly in the programming side and development side of the organization, that we're using HipChat, but I guess now I don't know what they're using, but Teams is the standard.
Right.
Teams and Yammer are the two ones.
Okay. So, I mean, we're teams we're groups or business units. We have to be careful as we talk about teams of teams.
Teams.
The ongoing joke. Where a different choice has been made. What's usually been the reason? I know there's a longer history of integration with Slack. Has that been the case for your team?
Yeah, mostly for our team is a lot of times when we're, since we're so outward facing, we're dealing with a lot of startups or scale-up size companies that we might be working on a joint venture with them or an investment, and to interface with their teams efficiently, it's easier to use something like Slack or Dropbox.
Because they're already using it?
Because they're already using it. So rather than try to get their whole organization to switch to whatever words we want to use, it's much easier for us to kind of interface with them and jump into normally Slack.
Yeah, that's definitely a good empathetic view of we'll come to your house, not you come to ours. And yeah, true, because Slack's been around for quite some time, it has been a choice for startups to get things done quickly. Cool. Well, thanks, Dan. Hey,
no worries.
So, Paul, what do you guys use for your teamwork?
So prior to Teams, we did have pockets of Slack in our organisation also. Still do, but there's a big push at our org to move to Teams. Big plans ahead for that. A lot of plans to do a lot more promotion in the next few months with it. A lot of Yammer as well.
Okay.
Heavy with the Yammer. So.
And do people generally understand the difference of when would you use a team to converse and to get work done, and when would you use Yammer?
There are some people with their ideas around how to do it, but as to how we kind of more formally promote that, that is still a bit more of a work in progress. We do have, as everyone does, knowledge articles, etc. I wrote one literally when to use Teams, when to use SharePoint, when to use Yammer, and when to use Outlook. So we're taking baby steps at the moment, and we're looking to push our Teams adoption quite heavily in the next few months.
Right. So it's interesting. On one side, you've got the what to use when question is driven by the customer and what they already have, and making it easy for them, lowering that barrier of teamwork. And on the other side, you have given choice, but you're wanting to standardise on something and give some clear guidance. Yeah, that's cool.
Especially for being local government, we've got to be mindful of where our records are stored.
Yes.
And public records, and the ability to retrieve them, and also not lose them. We definitely need to be mindful of that.
I know that Teams is definitely building out that strong story of being able to have archive and retention, and holding those documents in a place where even if someone deleted them, you've got that way to trace it.
That's right.
Check it out.
Retention is key.
Yeah, definitely. Great, guys. Well, thanks for sharing. See you on the ground. Well, we finally made it. We're here waiting for our Uber. Paul Warren, Darrell Webster. This is not completely the end of our journey, but what's your first impressions, Paul? We're here at Orlando Airport. We're truly in the United States.
We are in the United States. It's pretty warm at the moment. It's been a long trip. Great trip. A lot of fun. Exhausted.
Yeah, because you can't find the words, right? So lack of sleep. But how was that for our baggage? I was just saying, look, we're probably going to have to wait for ages because we've probably beat it over on the train, and there it is on the conveyor belt. So thank you, United. That was awesome.
What's on for you? Thanks for me, but
What's on for you tomorrow morning?
So tomorrow morning I have a 8 a.m. appointment with Dona, Eddie Leonard, and Blair Glennon to go over a diversity talk. Cool. So it's going to be probably a short sleep tonight. So I'll be up early. Well, actually, first things first, up early. Head to get my badge.
Yes. 7:30 badge pickup opens. Of course, it was closed here at quarter to 12 at the airport. You would expect that. Our Uber's about 10 minutes away, so that's all good. So pick up your badge, grab some breakfast.
Get something to eat. Go find the room where I'm meeting the
Room
gang.
203, so if you're wanting to stalk them, no, this video won't be ready till then, till afterwards. No, that's cool. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be trying to connect with a few people again, picking up my badge. There's the MVP pre-day stuff, so we'll be talking a lot about the announcements coming up. We'll, of course, connecting with friends and the Regarding 365 crew. And then I might even get an early practice in with one of my talks as well.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So practice.
Yep. Oh, and hey, this is the first time that you've used Uber.
It is the very first time I've used Uber, so why use it back in New Zealand when I can use it for the first time?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
You know?
So Paul's, not only is it his first time, but he's not even paying the full fare. We're going to split the fare because it's just easier that way. That's cool. Good. All right. Well, we'll catch you again. And look, I'm sure that we'll catch up and meet throughout the conference and talk about how you're feeling and finding about it.
Definitely.
But this is Darrell and Paul signing off for our Road to Ignite. Catch you again.
See you, bye.